I'm making a different face.
Hey, Sam.
Little S, big A, little M. What up, Brendanovich?
Remember in Gremlins what you're not supposed to do with your gremlin?
Nope.
You're not supposed to feed it after midnight.
Okay.
You're not supposed to do something, and then you're not supposed to get it wet.
This is a terrific reference you're making right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember what happens when you get your gremlin wet?
Nope.
So it gets this little boil on its back,
Gross.
and another gremlin pops out.
Gross. Gross. Gross, gross, gross.
Science has a name for this.
Science has a name for what happens to gremlins when you get them wet?
Asexual reproduction.
Wow.
The new gremlins are genetically identical to the parent gremlin.
Yeah. Okay.
Cells do that when they divide,
Uh-huh.
and some animals actually reproduce the same way.
Weird. Like what kind of animals?
There are flatworms that do it,
Okay.
planaria, for example.
Planaria. I'm sorry. Everyone else out in the real world calls them flatworms. Just flatworms. We could stick with that.
All right.
We don't need to science this show up or anything. It's
Ah.
planaria.
There are some lizards
Lizards. Gross.
that will have asexual reproduction. And one of my favorites in the category of fish are the sharks.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't know sharks did that.
And it's been documented some sharks, female sharks that have been kept in tanks without any male sharks for years, will suddenly give birth to a baby shark.
I really hope that doesn't happen to me.
That's called parthenogenesis.
And we're back to making up words.
Parthenogenesis is the name for giving birth to an asexually reproduced organism.
Weird. That's weird. I think you've made that up. I don't think it's real.
So, one of the
Whatever.
reasons you would think if we could just reproduce asexually, there would be copies of us and every other organism competing for space all over Earth.
Well, that would make sense because, I mean, I know I personally would want a copy of Sam, and I know they do. Yeah.
Exactly.
They totally want multiple ones of us running around. Imagine how many of these, how many more we could film.
All at once.
Oh my gosh, epic. We should do that.
Unfortunately, it's difficult to do asexual reproduction. And we don't find these clones, really, all over the place because it doesn't work very well. And scientists, for a long time, have thought the reason is because we, in our lifetime, acquire mutations.
Yeah.
If we were to then reproduce
Yeah.
asexually, we would pass those same mutations on to the next generation, who
Makes
would,
sense.
in their lifetime, acquire their own mutations, added on top of ours.
Oh, so we got 2 times the mutations going on.
2 times, you take that out several generations, you would have multiple.
Yeah. Whoa, mutations galore.
And so scientists assumed that's why it didn't happen.
It's a pretty logical assumption. Is it not why
It
it
seems
happened?
to work,
I
or
mean,
it
I
seems
don't-
to.
It sounds logical
It
to
sounds
me.
logical.
But I have a feeling you're going to come back with a except.
Except a scientist went to the Amazon in Brazil and found this fish called a molly.
Okay.
And the molly reproduces asexually.
Alrighty.
It was assumed that the molly formed from 2 different species of mollies getting together and forming this hybrid organism that could reproduce asexually.
Makes sense.
So the scientists took those 2 assumed parental species and tried making crosses, and they would get these hybrids, but none of the hybrids they got could reproduce asexually.
So that's obviously then not how that happened.
So that wasn't the reason it happened. So the scientists then looked at the genes of the molly that does reproduce asexually, and they compared, they did a sampling of the population to see what kind of variation there is.
Yeah.
The variation analysis showed that it's more likely the asexual lines developed from a single species in multiple rare events that created the asexual reproducing ability species.
Weird.
Did I lose you on that one?
A little bit.
If I lost
There's lots
you,
of species and mollies and fish.
I might have lost
You
them.
might have. I think I get the gist of what you're saying. Instead of what they thought was two parents made a weird mutation baby, asexually reproducing, parthenogen and whatever thing. But not so much. Actually, just weird mutation thingy, then became more weird mutation thingies.
So
asexually reproducing.
there are so few asexually reproduced organisms, it's assumed now,
Yeah.
because it's just difficult to
Because
make.
it's just weird.
It's just weird and it's just difficult, not because of the acquired genetic mutations.
How intriguing. So, if you have any questions about all of that stuff that was just said, because there was a lot. Like I said, words, parthena something or other, and planaria, flatworms. It's flatworms. Send questions, comments, and concerns our way at scientificstation.com.